things that go through your mind that other people don't necessarily have to think about. And this is just at the ground basis. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, and so those are some of the things that people are trying to bring awareness to. Now, I love the dialogue about it. Now, what is the next step? What do we do? How do we come together? This is supposed to be something that we have a dialogue about, how we come together as Americans, as people, as one people to come together and do something that's right for all people. Right?
Right.
Because that's what we want. Everyone wants to be included in something. I mean, it goes back to when you were in kindergarten and all the other kids were playing with the toys. You wanted to be included in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the narrative now needs to move forward. We have the games from this weekend. We're gonna have protests going on. Further, you still have people that aren't gonna watch the games because of Colin Kaepernick, and the NFL has possibly lost fans because of the protests. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, but at the end of the day, you're not gonna please everyone.
Yeah, these are uncomfortable situations because you have to think there's a good section of people that these are things they don't think about.
Right.
Okay. You know, a stop from a police officer can escalate quickly in any situation. Okay.
Absolutely.
And minorities feel they escalate much quicker than normal. Exponentially quicker than normal when as opposed to dealing with non-minorities. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And to get that point across to people who it really doesn't affect, you know, this isn't something that affects them, that affects non-minorities.
Right. Absolutely.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Right.
That's probably the question I should ask. Obviously nobody wants to get pulled over by the cops, issued a ticket. I get that.
Right.
But,
and here's the thing.
Is there an inherent fear
right.
of getting pulled over by the cops from, you know, that's where the kind of dialogue needs to start. And then if you say no, I will say, all right, well, here's what I think. Here's what I see.
Right.
Okay. And maybe it may be, exacerbated. You know, you get a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there. You see a lot more than you would normally see back in the day, obviously, because videos are everywhere. Social media is everywhere. So you see a lot more than what you would normally see. Sure, it was happening back then. You just didn't see it.
Absolutely.
So you're more aware.
And I want to make a point that when someone, a minority, is saying that there are issues in America, please stop making the case. If you don't like it, leave. Because we just went through a whole campaign in America where a candidate on numerous occasions said the issues that they don't like with America. And we elected that individual. Mm-hmm. We're going to make America great again. Like she's not great. We lose,
it was horrible.
Quote unquote, we lose too much. We're not going to lose anymore. We're going to be winners. So, right. so when you have an individual that can make that statement and everyone can rally behind that person, but yet when someone else says America has some imperfections and we need to look at those, please don't demagogue that person for that.
Well, I think everybody wants to talk. Not a lot of people want to listen. That's kind of where we're at now. It becomes a shouting match. And then eventually people just tune out. And that's what the NFL is gonna see going forward. People are just going to tune out. Because it gets exhausting at some point. When you're shouting at each other, that goes for anybody, you know.
It's the same way in a marriage. It's the same way in a marriage.
Your friend, if you're shouting with your wife, eventually you're like, you know what, forget it. I'm done.
Right.
Exactly. Somebody's going to tune out. So it has to be
a dialogue. But there has to be a dialogue, an educated dialogue about how do we move forward. And I tell you what, sports is the best way for America to come together. I always go back to it. Sports in America, especially after 9/11, when a tragic event happens, and the way that sports can actually bring Americans together It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. I mean, you look at games where in world football, and you have Iran plays against this country, or Syria plays against this country, or two countries that don't, their political leaders don't like each other, and they play against each other. The way that they bring the crowd together, the way that they bring the team together, the way they can galvanize a country together to stand behind them. That is what sport does. And that is the reason why sport plays such an important part of what goes on in the world. And you cannot take that out of it. I'm sorry. You just can't.
Absolutely. No doubt. It's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward to the league. If the protests continue, I think, I think the players were used by the owners this weekend to thumb their nose at a one-time rival of theirs. Donald Trump, kind of that good old boys club, like, let me hit you in the rib real quick with this one. I don't think they're going to be down on the field next weekend. Okay.
I can promise you they won't be down on the field.
Nah, Jerry's not. He already got his camera time. So he going to be back up in the booth.
Jerry was looking for that camera, wasn't he?
He was looking for that camera. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
All right. We talked about the Rams and 49ers. Great game. It really kicked off a great weekend.
It really
football,
was.
Actually,
it really was.
If you watched the football,
I tell you this, it got to a point where after that Thursday night game, and then of course you had Saturday's games of college football, and then you move into Sunday's games, and you started looking at teams that, I mean, if you would have started on Sunday morning and said, hey, look, I already know that the Jags are going to lose to the Ravens over in England. I'm going to just go ahead and pick the Panthers over the Saints. The Broncos are going to knock out the Bills, the Lions, and the Falcons. That'll be a good game. You probably would have been wrong.
Right.
That's just how this weekend turned out to be. The Jags dominated the Ravens. But you and I had already talked about it. That jet lag is no joke.
It's for real.
If you don't plan for it, it's over.
Yeah, and I think the Jags, like you said, and you had mentioned this, that they've been over there a couple times already.
Right.
So I believe, and you do too, that they have a system down to how they're going to handle that.
They're going to play on
when
Sunday.
they go over there,
and they're going to get on that plane on Monday, and come the next Sunday, they're going to be acclimated to being overseas. Their timing, their sleep schedule, everything is going to be perfect. The food that they eat, everything is going to be good. The rest of the teams that haven't been over there in a long time, what are they going to do? They're going to get into London around Friday night, maybe Saturday morning, and think come Sunday that they're going to be ready to play.
It's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them.
And it did hurt.
But like you said, it did. Blake Bortles, we had a sighting. Okay, 4 touchdown passes. The defense, obviously, all over the Ravens. Jalen Ramsey said, "I'm gonna just go on and say it. We got the best defense in the league."
Hey.
I don't know if that'll come back to bite him, but we'll see. But the AFC South, I mean, you got Jacoby Brissett up there. You got the Tennessee Titans, who I think is going to win the division. But, you got the Houston Texans. They pushed New England pretty hard.
Yeah.
In Foxborough. Okay. That might be one of the most interesting divisions to watch.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. And I'm going to tell you why, because you already know that Indianapolis is waiting on Andrew Luck to come back, if he comes back. But I do like what Jacoby Brissett is doing, whether he's setting up himself to get an opportunity somewhere else or not. That remains to be seen. But he's thrown the ball around really well. The Tennessee
he's running
Titans,
really well.
We know the type of team that they have, how solid they are, and then you have the Texans. With Deshaun Watson, they go up to Foxborough. Yeah. They play a tight game, which actually they could have won. Mm-hmm. And I want to come up with a point. How many times do you see teams go into a prevent defense? And I have to give this to my man Robert Jackson. We were talking about this. How many times do teams go into prevent and you see the offensive team actually scoring? I mean, what is it? What is it good for?
I don't know.
Look, they basically went into prevent. They had a 5-point or a 6-point lead in the game.
Yeah.
They go into prevent, and the Patriots just march right down the field.
Well, the point of the prevent is to give them the underneath stuff.
Yeah, but they were taking whatever they wanted.
Right. Brady has lived on that throughout his career. So it's just not a smart move.
It wasn't a smart move.
And especially, look, when you're on the road, like when you're at home, maybe because you got the crowd behind them, you got some crowd noise going. Maybe you can get some mistakes in the offense that way. But when you're on the road, you got to go all out.
Yeah,
you have to go all out, Madden style.
Hey,
okay.
All
4th
right,
and 17 in your territory.
Go for it.
Go for it.
You on the 10? You on your own 10? Go.
Hey, you got to go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was a pretty good game. Like you said, the Jags beat the Ravens. I want to holler at my Panthers real quick.
Yeah, please do.
I don't want to spend much time on them.
No, but we can.
At this point, they're
we really
not
can.
worth the time.
Why?
So they're at home against the Saints. Cam. Long.
Yeah.
Cam, 3 picks on the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And the Saints defense showed up probably because it was Cam. Okay. Drew Brees had a good day, obviously. We were running the ball pretty good. Christian McCaffrey was the leading receiver for the Panthers.
Right.
Kelvin Benjamin went down, I think, on like the first play. Twisted his knee or something like that. I think it was the second play, but he went down very early. And Cam just seemed very unprepared.
Right.
Like just not, and I never really liked his energy during the game.
Or at
I
the
don't
podium.
feel like well, I don't ever really care much for him. Watch him at the podium, but at the game, during the game, he doesn't seem to have a positive energy around him.
Okay.
Like he seems to be kind of walking up there to the line, like, I don't know what he's doing.
Ho hum.
Yeah. And it's just not, I don't know. They're saying it's the shoulder. Okay. If his shoulder hurts, we got a backup quarterback, honestly, because you can't sacrifice the entire team for one guy. But this was just bad reads, big misses. He got sacked a couple times. He got clowned after the game by the defense. Okay. It's just really disappointing. It's really disappointing to see
he's missing some throws.
What he has become.
And the thing is, and the question becomes, I mean, it's not like he was a barnstormer as far as his accuracy. But
he was never that.
It could be the surgery that he had, the off-season surgery, just not getting back, not getting enough reps during the off-season. Again, I always say, give these guys a month, and then we'll see exactly where they are. Because the one theme that I got from this whole weekend was the fact that, again, the Broncos beat the brakes off the Cowboys. And then they left Mile High and came to Western New York.
Yeah.
And they lost. And they got beat soundly.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
here's the thing, Cam. The thing with Cam, you go back 2 years, his MVP campaign. Okay, he seemed to have a lot of energy. They were winning, obviously, but winning brings you that energy. He seems to be he's a high guy and he's a really low guy. Like if his things aren't going well, he is down in the dumps.
And when they're going well, we're going to see that dab.
You're going to see the dab. You're going to see him running around, smiling, this
Superman.
and that. But he can't, when it's down, he can't seem to pull it up,
Right.
And that's the problem. Cam Jordan went in on him afterwards, after the game, made a reference to him, reference to his outfits, his onesie, a romper.
Hey, these teams don't like
what he say? He said he don't think he's wearing heels yet.
Wow. They don't like each other. I mean,
look,
the teams don't like each other.
I don't know if they don't like each other, but look, Cam has never really, I don't feel like he's really been liked around the league.
He's not universally liked.
Not universally liked. I think he was respected because of what he can do on the field.
Right.
But as far as liking him, I never got the feeling that players were like, oh yeah, that's my dude,
Having said that,
he's a real good dude.
He's not like the way Michael Vick was like, right?
Oh no,
Vince
not at all.
Young.
Nope.
RG3 when he came into the league, Andrew Luck, Mariota.
Yeah.
You know, Derek Carr.
He's never endeared himself to his comrades out there, whether it be on the opposing team or on this team. I haven't heard any of the players that have left. I haven't heard any good things about him. Okay.